Welcome back to today's Explainer, everyone. We've got a serious, strategic mission ahead of us today. We are going to absolutely conquer the massive banking vocabulary syllabus for the SBI and IBPS probationary officer exams. And the best part? We're going to do it without burning out. So if you've been staring at those study materials feeling completely overwhelmed, well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
Now, it's a totally fair question. How do you master all these words without losing your mind? Look, we have to acknowledge the sheer volume of test prep anxiety out there. Staring at dozens upon dozens of complex, high-level English words, yeah, that's enough to make anyone's stress levels spike. I completely validate that feeling. But hey, instead of just brute forcing our way through endless flashcards, we found a smarter, highly structured way to study that will actually make these words stick.
Just look at what we're up against here. It's visually dense, packed with text, and honestly, it's pretty intimidating. If you try to just sit down and memorize this static list of 54 words from top to bottom, your brain is going to fatigue incredibly fast. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. It's just not an efficient way to learn, and frankly, it's really not very interesting either.
So, to beat this list, we're going to break it down into 4 simple steps. 1. Traits of the ideal banker. 2. Handling workplace drama. 3. The problem solvers. And 4. The high-frequency cheat code.
All right, starting off with Part 1, Traits of the Ideal Banker, Building Your Professional Profile.
We're going to anchor this first bucket of words to the core concept of what a bank actually expects from its probationary officers. You see, when you tie a word to a real-world role you're aiming for, it suddenly clicks. It has meaning. Take our first word, meticulous. It means showing great attention to detail, being very precise and careful. Look, every successful banker has to be meticulous. When you're dealing with millions of dollars in transactions, precision is literally non-negotiable. As the source material points out with the sentence, "She is meticulous in her work," that's the exact energy a bank wants from you.
And you know that precise attention to detail flows perfectly right into our next trait, prudent. This means acting with or showing care and thought for the future. A prudent banker is someone who saves, who plans ahead, and who really understands risk management. The example sentence here hits the nail on the head. It is prudent to save money for emergencies. I mean, that's banking 101 right there.
Plus, let's be real, banking is a high-stress job. Markets crash, deals fall through, long hours are just kind of the norm. And that brings us to resilient, which means able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. This is an absolutely vital, positive vocabulary term to master for your exam, mostly because it describes the exact kind of stamina you need to survive in the financial sector.
And the source material actually gives us a brilliant example of this word used in a macroeconomic context. The economy has proven resilient. By learning the word this way, in this very specific context, you aren't just memorizing for a multiple-choice question. You're actually gaining vocabulary that's directly relevant to acing those SBI PO essays or crushing your final interviews.
Moving on to Section 2, Handling Workplace Drama, the Conflict Words.
Now notice the stark contrast here. We actually build amazing memory retention by pairing opposites. On one side, you've got the ultimate yes-man behavior, obsequious, which is being obedient or attentive to an excessive, almost servile degree. And then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have intransigent. That's stubbornly refusing to change one's views or agree about something. It's the pushover versus the brick wall. Remembering them together like this makes both of them stick in your mind way better.
And then, of course, we have the clients. The word here is querulous, meaning complaining in a petulant or whining manner. I want you to just picture something in your head for a second. Imagine a highly unhappy customer pacing around the bank lobby because their refund was delayed. Our source material gives us exactly this scenario. The customer became querulous when the refund was delayed. Just visualize that complaining customer, and I promise you, you'll never forget the word querulous.
Finally, rounding out our drama bucket, we have sanctimonious. This is making a show of being morally superior to other people. Think about how a sanctimonious attitude just instantly alienates colleagues. In fact, the source specifically notes his sanctimonious attitude alienated his colleagues, because honestly, nobody likes working with someone who constantly acts like they're on a moral high horse above the rest of the team.
All right, let's jump to Section 3, the problem solvers, action words for critical situations.
Once again, contrast is our absolute best friend here. We have assuage, which means to make an unpleasant feeling less intense, versus exacerbate, which means to make a problem or negative feeling worse. So, the really crucial point here is knowing the difference between putting out a fire and pouring gasoline all over it. As a banking officer, you definitely want to assuage investor fears, not exacerbate market tensions.
Just look at how perfectly this fits into the language you'll see on the exam. The source sentence reads, "The new policy helped assuage investor fears." Notice how smoothly the word assuage pairs up with banking terms like policy and investors. When you spot those context clues on the test, your brain should automatically trigger this exact definition.
Similarly, we have ameliorate. This means to make something bad or unsatisfactory better. Taking active steps to ameliorate difficult working conditions, or, say, a really poor financial quarter, is the absolute hallmark of a problem solver. The source material highlights this perfectly with the sentence, "Steps have been taken to ameliorate the working conditions."
And now for Section 4, the high-frequency cheat code, gaming the source material. Okay, this is where things get really fun. There is actually a massive secret hiding in plain sight within these 54 words. If you meticulously analyze the source list we've been given, you'll discover a bit of a double-dip secret. Several words don't just appear once, they actually repeat multiple times across the different sections of the document. And here are those repeat offenders: mitigate, obdurate, esoteric, magnanimous, intransigent, and querulous. All of these appear twice in the source material. But look right at the top of that list. Ephemeral. It appears 3 separate times. Now think about it. If the creators of this study material repeated ephemeral 3 times across 54 slots, whether accidentally or on purpose, it is an undeniable, absolutely critical high-frequency term. You absolutely 100% must know it.
So, let's focus deeply on this most repeated word right now and make sure it sticks in your brain forever. Ephemeral. It simply means lasting for a very short time. Fleeting. Passing. To truly grasp the context here, the very first example sentence provided in our source for ephemeral is, "The fame of these pop icons is often ephemeral." It's just like a pop song that's a massive hit for a week and then completely forgotten. Ephemeral describes things that just don't last. In banking, you might talk about an ephemeral spike in stock prices. You know, here today, gone tomorrow.
So, what's the big takeaway from this explainer? You need to prioritize these repeat offenders to maximize your exam score and study efficiently. Categorizing words by theme, like our ideal, banker, or workplace drama buckets, and prioritizing the exact words that the test makers themselves keep repeating, that saves you precious time and cognitive energy. You are studying way smarter, not harder.
Which brings me to my final question for you today. Are you meticulous enough to conquer this vocabulary list right now? You've got the strategy, you've got the themes, and you've got the cheat code. Now it's time to put in that focused, precise attention to detail. Get out there and absolutely crush this exam.